Since the dawn of time, humans have tried to find fun things to do. We invented games, we generally goofed around, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Humans crave stimulation. But now we have the internet and our phones and our eyeballs. So the question becomes, do we need that stimulation? Is it too much stimulation? Do we need more stimulation? Yes, absolutely. Welcome back to Manual Motion. I'm Evan.
And I'm Dom. And today, we're back. And unfortunately, we've been gone for a little while because of the amazing northeastern weather we've been having. But we're coming back with a little bit better production value.
Yeah, so we're switching off the weekly schedule, which is fine, but you can be sure every time we post, it's gonna be a slightly better production value than we had before.
So please be sure, like, subscribe, watch out for all our new videos, because we're gonna be driving some crazy cars. And speaking of, we have this absolutely crazy car right here. This is my brand new GR Corolla. In a previous video, I mentioned how I was selling my 2019 RAV4, and this is what I got to replace it. Wait, you're dailying this?
I am dailying a GR Corolla. I am so excited. These are actually not hard to find if you go to look, but they are really rare. These are like semi-limited production. So I'm really, really excited to show you guys it today. We're taking on a tour of the car and kind of talk through what it's been like for the first week of ownership. But first, Dom, you gotta tell us the stats.
Wait, we were promising higher production value.
What do you mean?
We were promising higher production value.
Okay, let me try something different. Dom, tell us the stats.
All right, guess that was better. Anyways, today we have a 1.6 liter turbo inline 3-cylinder pushing out 300 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque through a 6-speed manual and GR 4-wheel drive. I can't understand a better layout for a rally car. This thing is ridiculous. Fun fact, the only 3-cylinder that is more powerful on the market is a $3 million Koenigsegg Yamera. And that's 600 horsepower in a 3-cylinder.
And the reason for that crazy powertrain is this badge right here. GR stands for Gazoo Racing, which is Toyota's performance trim level. And this Corolla joins the league of an amazing set of cars, the GR Supra and the GR86, as some of the most insane Toyotas you can buy. But what's special about this one is it's the only homegrown GR. The GR86 is basically a Subaru. The GR Supra is a BMW. So this makes this the most homegrown Toyota GR you can buy. Crazy.
Around back, we have triple exhaust pipes that sound like listen to that bass. And we have a very, very good amount of trunk space. This trunk has a 60-40 split with the rear seats, and it's really more than you'll ever need.
In fact, I fit all 4 of these in the back. These are my winter setup tires. You kind of need that for a sporty car in the Northeast. These are Bridgestone Blizzaks on Enkei TS10s. These are actually the most spokes I could find on an aftermarket rim because the OEM rim is a 18-inch, 15-spoke rim with Michelin Pilot Sport 4s that I absolutely could not drive it during the winter because it's on summer tires. These are actually pretty good as well, but with the 235 section rear tire and front tire, it's a squared setup, it's plenty for the winter.
Here in the back of the GR Corolla, despite the narrow door opening, I actually have a very considerable amount of legroom and headroom. Plus, we get a nice rear center console and USB ports in the back. Both C and a cigarette lighter. These amazing back seats have the same Alcantara and leather as these manually adjustable, amazing looking, and very bolstered front seats, but more on the comfort when we drive it.
Up front, we have, well, the interior of a Corolla, which usually has a negative connotation, but I have actually been surprised. It's super well built. It's put together well. Everything you kind of touch is soft and like leather wrapped, especially in the GR Corolla. I'm not sure what a normal one of these feels like, but I would imagine it's still pretty nice. And while the infotainment screen is egregiously styled and sort of tacked onto the dashboard here, it's actually really nice to use. It's the new generation of the same system I had in my RAV4. It's really sensitive to your touch, it's smartphone fast, and has wireless Apple CarPlay, which is a huge benefit. Less beneficial though than I thought is the wireless charging pad in here. It doesn't work all that well. I can't really seem to get it to work properly, but you know, at least it's here. Also, the backup camera in this car is, I think they said it was pulled out of a 2009 smartphone. It is so bad quality, but again, it has parking sensors in this car, front and rear, and so that's a really big benefit because you can't really see much out of the rear view camera.
As we move down from, as Evan said, this egregiously styled infotainment, we get to pretty much the best part of the car, and the only way you can get this car, a 6-speed manual transmission that is unbelievably tight, but we'll get more onto that as we drive it. As we continue, right next to our leather-wrapped manual handbrake, we get to the torque split. And a lot of different videos explain actually how it works, but what it does essentially is if you twist it to the right, it sends more torque to the rear. If you twist it to the left, it sends more torque to the front. And if you push for track, it sends an even 50-50.
So now in the driver's seat, you get to really appreciate the driving position. So it's sitting decently low, but in pure Corolla fashion, you have an excellent view forward. The nose dives really deep, and so you get a really awesome view forward with this big windshield. But if you look down from the view forward, you get to see the steering wheel. This leather-wrapped steering wheel with stitching. It feels excellent. It's the right size. It's nice and thin with the GR badge on the bottom as well. Isn't that cool? On the right side, you have the cruise control switches. Yes, cruise control and even adaptive cruise control in a manual transmission car. Isn't that crazy? I have not tried it out yet, but I'll report back. That system in my RAV4 worked out pretty well, so I'm actually looking forward to it. On the left side, we have the controls for the infotainment screen and actually the digital driver's display. So in this car, I'm not sure if it's in the original Corolla hatchback or any of the other Corolla models, but in this one, you have a full digital driver's display that covers edge to edge here. It's super configurable with 3 different sections on how you configure it. You can go between your torque split, G-forces boost in a Corolla. Isn't that cool? And just really configurable. The tachometer is right there, right in center. And really bright. If you put it over into sport mode too, you get the tachometer going across the top of the thing like a pure race car. Super cool. Also, one thing to note, we have a 8-speaker JBL sound system in this car, and it actually, people have said it doesn't sound that great. I think it sounds pretty good. And the only thing left to do before driving it is comment on the styling. This thing, I am blown away how good it looks in person. It's so cool.
It's so aggressive. What's this color?
It's called Heavy Metal.
Hell yeah.
There's only 4 colors you can get. It's a white, a black, a red. You can also get a blue now, but there's this gray, which I actually really love. It's wider than a regular Corolla. You can see with the rear fenders. It's flared out into the door panel. Super cool. Leading into a lower rocker panel and a super aggressive front end with a ton of intake. Just super cool.
Was this an option or was it like?
That's an option.
All of them I see with this, and I love it.
Yeah, there's the roof rack.
I love the roof rack. Imagine a little box, like one of the ones you put on like an S4.
Oh, absolutely. This could be.
That would be sick.
A weekend warrior and just sort of go anywhere, do anything.
Take this up to Vermont, go skiing.
Oh, that'd be so nice. Yeah, I just love how this thing's styled. What do you think?
I love it.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
So I'm up first, driving my GR Corolla, and oh man, I stepped in this thing, was immediately shocked, blown away. And I just broke it in, so I've not done what I'm about to do. Oh! I nearly drive this! This thing is crazy! Oh, the auto rev matching is so excellent. I have not done that yet. Oh, I've been babying it. Man, this thing is good. Immediately, the first thing you notice, shifter feel, superb, notchy, precise. Man, it's weighted well. The clutch is light, and the throttle, and the sound. A+. Toyota, what have you done? I mean, I am blown away. How is this a Corolla, you know? I had loved the practicality of it too. We showed it off before with the split seats. I fit those forerims in there just fine. The tires, like I mentioned, are winters, so they're not super grippy. They have a bit of play in them, so it's obviously not the best and most ideal for performance driving, but for the winters, you have to have it. I love the view out. The gauge clusters, everything has worked flawlessly. I've had this thing a week, driven it almost 700 miles in a week, because I just can't stop driving it. I just love the steering wheel. I love how it drives. It's comfortable to a point. It's got this roughness to it that never lets you forget that you're in a special driver's car, but it does have a bit of quietness to it. It's not the quietest thing ever. It's not an S-Class, but it certainly is nice and comfortable and dailyable. The seats, like I mentioned, we're gonna get to it now, don't have lumbar support, which is kind of an interesting thing, but I don't necessarily miss it. It's nice and bolstered. They're really comfortable. They're soft, but they hold you in place around a corner. I've got this thing up into some corners before on a back road. I mean, I am shocked at how well this thing handles. It just corners dead flat. Every reviewer, as you might have seen, raves about how this thing handles and how it steers. The steering is definitely light, especially in normal mode. It gets a little bit heavier in sport, but in normal, it's really light. The downshifting, the rev matching works just fine. I've been loving the rev matching. It's awesome for daily driving, especially in traffic. Oh, and you get out of a hole so fast. This is what I needed in my life. The RAV4 wasn't cutting it. This is how a daily driver should feel, at least for me. Oh man, it's the perfect balance. This is probably, I was convinced. We've driven a lot of cars. You've seen them. Go check out the videos if you haven't. Probably one of the best driving cars I've driven. It is so amazing to drive, especially handling, the feel, and when you consider the whole package. Wow, wow, wow. I am shocked. Shocked. Let's see if Dom feels the same way.
To install it. Oh, dude, the turbo noise. Dude, the turbo noise. Oh my God, that's so sick. You can hear a little psst. Yeah. Hopping into the GR Corolla, I am immediately, the steering. Everything is so put together, and I've never felt a hatchback like this. Other cars have come close. Other cars have been very, very good. Rev mashing is beautiful in this car. But other cars have been close, but not nearly this put together. I love this feel of the steering. I know where the front wheels are. The power, I don't usually like front wheel drive biased cars because I don't feel confident in them, but this thing gives me so much confidence. I'm completely blown away. This gauge cluster is so sick. Oh my God. The clutch is really light. It feels like a luxury car clutch, but the shifter, it feels like it's out of the NSX we drove, which was absolutely magnificent. I can't tell you how good this shifter is, but it is. And the rev matching on this thing, it's not the fastest. You gotta wait a second, but it makes sure you know exactly everything it's doing. 300 horsepower is a lot of power. I think a lot of people forget that. But doesn't have nearly any torque steer. There's a touch when you're setting off if you're really gunning it. But besides that, this thing's amazing. The seats are well bolstered. The visibility is amazing. I cannot fathom the fact that this is a Toyota. I want one. I do want one. Dude, this puts such a smile on your face. Let's send it to the outro.
And that was our tour with my GR Corolla. I am so excited to have this thing. I'm in love already after only a week.
I honestly can't believe how good it drove.
Yeah.
Anyways, please be sure to like, subscribe. We are going to be producing more content, higher production value, not as often. So be sure to watch our Instagram for new posts, watch our channel, and
yeah, we know you'll like it. It's gonna be so cool. And at the end of these, we usually thank the owner, but the owner's me. So isn't that fun? So
thank you. Holy shit. Ev, goodbye. Goodbye, man.